SATO starts at your worksite to power change in the world. We strive to create a future where prosperity and sustainability exist in harmony. SATO's challenge began in 1940 with the invention and manufacture of a bamboo assembly box by our founder, SATO. This is the story of the ceaseless creativity of the people who work at SATO. In the midst of World War II, it was difficult to obtain metals and wood for anything other than military purposes. Just when business had come to a standstill and all hope seemed lost, a single idea was formed. Bamboo, a material that is abundantly available. Packing boxes, which had been difficult to make due to wood shortages, were now being produced readily thanks to bamboo. The bamboo processing machine developed to make up for the shortage of operators during the war dramatically improved production. From that time to the present, SATO's spirit of solving problems from the worksite has continued on. After the war, newspapers became widespread in every household. In pursuit of a simpler way to bundle newspapers, to help publishers struggling to keep up with growing distribution volumes, SATO set out to witness the shipping process at a leading newspaper publisher. As a result of repeated tests, SATO developed a world-class automatic bundling machine. This was also used by major publishers and the post office and revolutionized shipping operations. An invention born from one realization brought clarity in an era of confusion. As the times change, SATO finds new ways to power change in the world from the worksite. This is the story of the ceaseless creativity of the people who work at SATO. The 1960s were a time of high economic growth. SATO Bamboo Machinery Works changed its name to SATO Machinery and Engineering Company Limited. The number of goods increased, and the distribution industry, especially for supermarkets, continued to grow rapidly. At that time, supermarket employees stuck price tags on hundreds of products by hand. This was time-consuming hard work. It ignited the problem-solving spirit of ceaseless creativity. Was there a better way to do price tagging? Some of those labels used thermal adhesive paper, rare for the time, meaning they could be reapplied if they came off. Can labels be reused even after they fall off? After repeated trial and error in the search for new price tagging methods, SATO invented the hand labeler in less than 2 years. Behind the amazing speed of completion was SATO's first tour of the United States and Europe in 1961 to gather knowledge. In the United States, where distribution methods were the most advanced at the time, an American-made desktop printer was used to print price tags. Products were tagged manually, one at a time. SATO was sure that rushing to complete its hand labeler, which had not been developed anywhere else in the world, would allow it to become the world standard. Thus, the practice of attaching price tags to all products was established at stores around the world. Then, in 1969, SATO teamed up with distributors around the world, creating the driving force for later globalization. However, even as the hand labeler became a big hit, complaints continued to come in. The issue was not with the labeler itself, but the labels that were being outsourced. SATO contacted its subcontractors and made repeated proposals to improve the quality of the labels, but they were not accepted. SATO decided to manufacture and develop their labels in-house. As a result, a label manufacturing machine with the highest production capacity in the world at that time was created. SATO's passion led to new advances in hardware and labeling. An invention born from one realization brought clarity in an era of confusion. As the times change, SATO finds new ways to power change in the world from the worksite. This is the story of the ceaseless creativity of the people who work at SATO. By the 1970s, U.S. supermarkets began to create point-of-sale systems. Having already made a name for ourselves with our handheld labeler, SATO exhibited at a trade show in Dallas, Texas in 1973. This experience strengthened our resolve to perfect the world's first handheld labeler for POS systems. Right away, SATO sent for products with barcodes printed in the U.S. and rushed to put together a prototype of such a handheld labeler, which he then took to the U.S. Having a prototype in hand helped sales talks go smoothly, and SATO committed to having a finished product within 1 year's time. By 1974, as promised, our rigorous research and experimentation culminated in the creation of the world's first handheld labeler for use with POS systems. The new product was met with acclaim from all over the world. We began taking part in projects to establish these new payment systems in Japan in 1975. SATO's efforts in this field helped establish the widespread use of the barcode in Japan. The dawn of the 80s saw a turn toward the digital, and barcodes were being used in POS systems. POS systems in Japan, however, remained behind the times. SATO had built its business around hand labelers for POS systems, but in doing so, we learned the limitations of raising barcode printing quality. We also found that thermal printers from our competitors had issues with faint printing as well. SATO decided to invent a totally new printer with printing quality optimized for barcode reading. What we finally arrived at was an altogether new method of printing called thermal transfer, using a carbon ribbon to print on regular paper. In 1981, these efforts resulted in SATO unveiling the world's first thermal transfer barcode label printer, the M2311. These printers were a huge hit because thermal transfer printing met needs of barcode legibility, including print quality and durability. Soon these expanded into areas far beyond supermarkets. Then in 1989, SATO put the future of its entire barcode printing business on the line when we developed the M4800 industrial printer. Its combination of durability, superior operability, and ease of maintenance led to adoption in industrial fields, becoming a fixture in factories as well. An invention born from one realization brought clarity in an era of confusion. As the times change, SATO finds new ways to power change in the world from the worksite. This is the story of the ceaseless creativity of the people who work at SATO. As the 1990s began, the world began facing new problems arising from data that had previously not even existed. As anxieties intensified, SATO realized it had a role to play. The world needed SATO's auto ID systems to connect things through data. In 1993, SATO unveiled a new business model, bringing together all the wide-ranging technologies and know-how we had cultivated. That new business style was named DCS and Labeling. A combination of auto ID technologies like barcodes and printers and labels to connect things at work sites through data. By consistently handling the flow of items at work sites using printers, labels, and barcodes, and carefully addressing even the most detailed needs of customers, SATO became a unique provider of comprehensive auto ID systems. In 1994, SATO was listed on the second section of the Tokyo Stock Exchange. The company's reputation was further solidified when it was subsequently moved to the first section of the Tokyo Stock Exchange in 1997. Around the year 2000, medical errors became an issue of increasing public concern. We thought if we could manage things using data, we could apply the same concept to people. That led us to offer wristbands with patient information printed on them. Then we unveiled a compact, high-performance printer. The product was a big success because of its ease of use even in healthcare settings. SATO's labeling solutions offer peace of mind for healthcare professionals and patients, and our printers began to be used where lives are on the line. As we grew our business into the 21st century, our labels met various new market needs. They could be applied to all types of items, with durability in many usage applications. Also, SATO's primary labels were produced with advanced designs. Thanks to significant strides made in these labeling technologies, we have continued to grow our global businesses and have set the new global standard for auto ID solutions. In the 90s, SATO began focusing substantially on maintenance support to keep worksites running. And now there is a growing need for such support to be provided at a global scale. This set the stage for our CL-NX series, a printer equipped with SOS, SATO Online Services, to provide online maintenance and management around the clock. The CL-NX series is a product that set the global standard for printers and is one that only SATO could make possible through our intimate knowledge of our customers' work sites around the world. By forming partnerships everywhere we operate and carefully addressing the issues of users one by one, SATO has been able to blaze a trail toward a global standard. We will continue to contribute to a better and more sustainable world by leveraging our global network and seeking solutions for society. An invention born from one realization brought clarity in an era of confusion. As the times change, SATO finds new ways to power change in the world from the worksite.